Welcome to Sometimes There's Side Eye, a podcast about two friends having real and unfiltered conversations about dogs and people. Listen as we talk about our lives with dogs, training, behavior, share some laughs, and a whole lot of banter. I'm Heather.
And I'm Christy.
What are we talking about this week, Christy?
This week we're talking about the Save Them All movement and what that means for dogs in our community
And
and kind of
people.
where we stand. Yeah.
And what do we think, Christy?
What do you think, Heather?
Oh no, this is your topic, so you
It's
have to
really not.
start off.
I would like to say this is not my topic. I just asked if we had done this before. And I do think on several episodes
Touched on
we've
it.
addressed
Yeah.
touched on the Save Them All movement and kind of where we stand on it. I think we have a similar stance, the two of us. I would say yeah, go ahead.
I feel like this topic is relevant right now because we just did an episode on mandatory spay and neuter, which came up because of things that are going on with the Miranda's Sanctuary rescue situation in California, where there are a lot of missing dogs, presumed dead. And then, or in a case where there's a big dog fighting bust or there's a pandemic, anything that
Mhm.
affects dogs at large and their people, I feel like the big topics come and reemerge, And so after last week's or our last episode, Christy said to me, "Hey, have we ever done Save Them All?" And I'm like, I mean, not technically. So I think that it's worth dedicating a little bit of chat time to
Mhm.
talk about this topic and why we feel the way we feel about it. So here we are.
And it feels really weird to like that anyone would not be on board with Save Them All. Of course,
Mm.
we want to save every dog. That would be the goal. What could possibly go wrong with that? And that's where Heather and I come in and say, there are some
Mm.
problems with Save Them
Yeah.
All. And
And
to be honest,
can I
uh,
just also, I feel like Save Them All and No Kill sort of go hand in hand, like having a no
oh,
kill
yes.
shelter. So I just wanted to kind of note that they sort
Yeah.
of go hand in hand, and we're kind of
And,
talking about that
mhm,
belief system
mhm.
as a whole
and and we'll probably use those two interchangeably
interchangeably.
throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So carry on,
Um,
Christy.
Yeah, I am often surprised, I'll be honest, that anyone who has volunteered a significant amount in rescue or worked in rescue is pro no kill or
Mm.
save them all, because I think Heather and I have seen some things in rescue,
Mm.
in sheltering, where we've said, I don't think that dog should be released to the public. I
Mm.
wouldn't want that dog to live next to me. And I definitely don't want just a random member of the public to have that dog.
Isn't that so key? That's such a key piece.
Mhm.
Because the average person, when you think about all the people who are going to rescue, and when I say rescue, I mean adopt a dog from a municipal shelter, a private rescue group, all breed rescue,
Yeah.
I don't care. Rescue. When the average people who are going to rescue are people who are just looking for a family pet. That's what they're
Mhm.
looking for.
Yeah.
And the expectation when they go look for that family pet is that this animal is safe.
Yeah.
That feels like a low bar. I'll be honest.
And it feels like something we should definitely be meeting. I think a lot of people don't realize that, the world's top trainers, even if every top trainer in the US only adopted dogs, it would still be a fraction of the amount of people adopting from the shelter. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't have millions of trainers coming forward and
Right.
saying, like, we just want to adopt your hardest case so
Yeah.
that we can change them. What we have is your next door neighbor, your grandma, your mom, your
Your
brother,
niece, your nephew.
yeah, your
Mm-hmm.
grandchild, all those people who are saying, I just want to give a really great, loving home to a great, loving dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what I want people to get at the shelter. And I'm not against I'm not saying shelter dogs have to be perfect by any means,
No, no,
um, or never have a behavior issue. I do
no.
think we have to be very honest about if we know what those behaviors issues are, that we have that we
Mm-hmm.
address them or let people know what they're getting into. And I think different behavior issues for different people
Mm,
matter more or less. So
mm-hmm.
I do think you can fit the right person with the right behavior issues, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like somebody
Shall we
may,
call them quirks?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And it may be, oh, this dog hates children. Well, guess what? The person who is adopting them also hates children.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so that's fine. They're not going out of their way to attack children. They just don't like them,
yeah.
and we may be able to find the perfect fit for that. Now, when we have a dog who is hunting children,
Well, that's different.
that's different. And we shouldn't be releasing that into the public.
No,
And we shouldn't be advocating for them to be saved.
no.
And
And we shouldn't let them sit in a shelter for hundreds of days for what?
Mhm. Yeah. What I find a lot of people think is that there's these really great sanctuaries that
Mm,
are somewhere out there that all these really tough dogs can go to and
hmm
live on 100 acres by themselves. But
hmm
those don't exist. I
I mean,
mean,
they see best
there's-
friends. So they
yeah,
think, well, there's
yeah,
like hundreds and hundreds of places like best friends out in the
there's
world.
not.
And surely there are plenty of farms where a dog can go and have place to run and not come into contact with people, with other people or neighbors, or
Mhm.
I mean these
Animals or
it's like the unicorn places, right?
yeah.
Do they exist? Sure. But
Are they plentiful? No.
number are they plentiful? Number one. Number two, do the people that own them, are they under some contractual agreement to take these
Mm-mm.
dogs? No.
They also deserve great dogs.
They do. It's like I say, and I've said before, can I deal with XYZ behavior problem? Yeah. Do I want to? No, I don't.
Mm,
I'm tired.
yeah,
And even if I'm not tired, I don't have to. We are all
yeah,
entitled to have what we want to have, right? But
yeah.
but thereby comes the honesty as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Honesty on our part about what we're capable of and what we're willing to take on. And then
Mhm,
honesty on the part of whomever you're getting the dog from. I don't care, adoption, purchase, whatever. There is the element of honesty there. I don't want this episode to feel like we're busting on shelter dogs because it's really not about that. It's
mm-mm,
about us as humans doing right by dogs and right by
mhm.
our communities.
Right.
And that's really why Save Them All and No Kill grinds my gears.
Mhm.
Because it's like this mantra. And it's
Mm.
like, well, what does that really mean? Have you thought about it?
Yeah. And here's the thing. What I found is a lot of places that say save them all also have these rules about not taking in aggressive dogs. So they
Hmm.
say save them all, but don't give them to us. We won't take a dog that has 9 bites.
Don't give me the hard
Or,
cases.
so don't give them to me, but you should save them all.
Yeah.
And I don't know where do people think that those resources are coming from?
But that's also a way for places to be able to have good stats in regards to no kill, right?
Mhm,
and
mhm,
and then get more funding and be
mhm,
able to be like we are the saviors
mhm.
because they're not taking the hard cases and the dogs that should be euthanized. And we're going to say dogs, like there's cats too, there's all
Yeah, yeah.
animals, right, that are not behaviorally
But
okay.
we're a dog
But
podcast.
we're dog people. So they're not taking the cases that they then have to quote unquote do the right thing by. And so then it allows them to keep their numbers really tight and pretty and go
Yeah.
by the no kill movement. So that's another reason why I think no kill and save them all go hand in hand. And I just hate them both.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think sometimes when people think of sanctuaries, they think, oh, this dog can just live its days out in a sanctuary, but that takes
Mm.
a lot of money. I have a
And
friend
resources.
who did send a dog to a sanctuary situation that she couldn't. She had him short term as a foster, trying to kind of intercede for him. She knew it was way above her level of availability for him. She did find a really great place for him, sanctuary for him, but then she sponsored him the rest of his life.
Really?
So that was her commitment, was not
Wow.
like a down payment, not but like monthly payments to sponsor this dog. And they don't have a lot of people who do that, but they need that because honestly, if you think about it, people say like, "Oh, well, I gave this rescue $5,000 to take my dog or the sanctuary." $5,000 is
Drop in the
not going to
bucket.
last the life of that dog.
No.
$10,000 is not going to
Yeah.
last the life of that dog. So you have to think about, well, where are they going to get funds then?
Yeah.
And some of them are really great about using social media to get funds or being well recognized within the community, but also there's not there's a lot that don't do that.
But uh, okay, here's where I am going to be the extreme.
Mhm.
What are we keeping those dogs alive for?
Yeah, so in this situation, it wasn't an aggression issue. It was the dog was paralyzed on the back end, still full of life, still super happy, but she knew she couldn't care for it full
But
time the way it needed. These people have experience and specifically take in dogs like that and have revamped their home to do
mm,
to have it easily accessible for dogs with disabilities. I don't I mean,
so
what
the
is the
dog's
point in
living in a
keeping
home now.
yeah,
Like
in
the
a home
sanctuary.
sanctuary.
Okay. Okay.
Sanctuary is also a home. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I guess that feels better.
Mhm,
I really struggle with us as humans having dogs in sanctuaries, living isolated lives. I guess that would be aggression cases and dogs
mm,
that can't, right? That can't live safe in our society and being
mhm,
sent to a sanctuary to live a isolated life for what? Like I don't get it. Just so we as humans can feel better that they're still breathing?
mhm. Okay. Devil's advocate.
Sure, always.
I mean, is it different than people who maybe do breedings and keep their dogs in kennels runs?
I'm I don't know. I guess it depends on the circumstances. How are they interacting with their dogs? Are they working their dogs?
Mhm.
Are they rotating their dogs in their home? It's like what does that look like? I think that
Yeah,
there are
for sure.
people who can do that really well and people who can do it really poorly.
Ooh, yeah.
But
And I
but
think the same thing with sanctuaries. If you
I
look at best
guess
friends, they do it really well where they have dogs who get out on hikes and go to overnight stays with people and all these things. And they do get a lot of attention.
yeah,
And I don't think those dogs are wanting, like, when we took a dog from best friends and it stayed overnight with us, when we got back, it was like, peace out. I'm home. I
yeah,
love this
yeah.
place. Like,
But
I was
that's
like,
like
oh, this dog is happy to be back.
best friends is the cream of the crop.
Yes, it is the Ritz
Like
Carlton of sanctuary.
it really is. And so I guess for me too, if somebody's breeding and like you're saying with a kennel setup and whatever, they are responsible for their dog. They are not where they have 500 dogs and there's an overpopulation. It's their personal dogs that they're producing or purchasing and then caring for and doing whatever. Whereas, do we have an overpopulation of dogs that are not can't safely live in homes? Clearly we do. I mean, we do.
I
And
don't know
and
of
they
an overpopulation, but we do have a population of dogs that
yeah.
are not safe to be in homes. I would say kind of so if I think about volunteering in the shelter,
Mm-hmm.
I would say I met thousands, hundreds of really amazing dogs, like
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of
Mm-hmm.
just the best dogs ever. And I can remember probably four that I was very concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
So four out of hundreds, like I don't think an overpopulation, but that is that is a population.
Would you say it's fair that you've only met those dogs in a snapshot of time and only a snapshot of circumstances, so you don't really know who they
Oh,
are and
yeah.
what they can handle?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think I get into this weird place where I want to err on the side of safety for humans and our community, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Sure.
I don't want to say at all costs, but damn near all costs.
Hmm.
And then I get in this weird place of where I'm like, well, to me personally, I would rather have a dog have a peaceful rest
Hmm.
forever than
Hmm.
not get to live a life with a good life. Like I don't want them to struggle. I don't want dogs like
Oh,
we
you mean like you don't want them in a kennel bouncing off the
yeah.
wall
Yeah.
just for
Yeah.
to say the fact we
To
saved
have
them and
them.
then
Yeah.
they
For
spend 10
what?
years going
I
crazy.
I I
Yeah.
just I cannot get okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's what Save Them All and No Kill is to a degree. If you
To
extrapolate it, that is where
yeah.
we are. And then if we are so hell-bent on making sure every single dog that comes through the shelter is adopted out, there is no way that we are not putting unsafe animals into our communities. There's no
Hmm.
way.
Yeah.
Because if you interacted with hundreds and there were four, let's extrapolate that to the population of shelter dogs across the country.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Hmm.
And I mean, that right there is why I have an issue with it.
Yeah. I think one of the litmus tests we always used at the shelter was just the simple saying, like, would I be comfortable with this
Hmm.
dog living next door to me?
Hmm.
And if we said no, then like maybe we shouldn't be pushing this dog,
Yeah.
out to the community.
I will never forget. I don't know if you were there when we were doing scent work for shelter dogs. And the shelter asked me to do it with a specific dog that had been a long timer and was really struggling in its kennel. And the dog did great at scent work, but the dog also, I had to basically, it went for me. And
Mm.
thankfully, I was a skilled handler and straight armed my arm so that his body was away from my body and he did not get me.
We were so young and we were so
We were so
fast.
I we were so fast. That dog scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
And there
was a
was one like, yeah, that I went for a guy, like a member of the public bent down to say hi, and I saw the dog going, and another volunteer had the dog,
yep.
and I saw what was happening, and I grabbed that leash before it could get to the guy's
Hmm.
face, and I was like, this dog is not safe for the
Yep.
public.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember walking through, and one of the behavior team people would always come to me and say, we got a Rottweiler, can you come and see it? And
Mhm.
would want to know my opinion because it was my breed. And a lot of people have a really hard time reading Rottweilers for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so I would always go and see them and be like, because I don't want a shifty Rottweiler on the streets
Hmm.
for so many reasons. Not
Yeah,
just because I love the breed, but because they're a big fucking powerful dog.
they are. Yeah.
And nobody wants that going wrong.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just tough. I get back to this whole I don't understand the mentality of I don't care. I will put every single dog up ahead of any human.
Yeah, and we're not those people. We
Mm-mm.
value human beings. We value their life and their their comforts too,
Hmm.
their right to safety in their own homes, in their neighborhoods, all of
Hmm.
that.
Their children, the neighbor's
Yeah,
children, whatever.
I don't even like I don't even like kids, but I think they deserve to be safe.
I mean, I think they deserve not to be attacked by a freaking dog
Yeah,
from the neighbor. Like,
yeah.
come on, come on. I don't like kids either, but I don't want them getting attacked.
Unless you're a friend with children, and then we like your kids.
Christy. I don't have friends with children for a particular reason. No,
I can't think
seriously.
of any. I was like, I can't. I think all my
Actually,
friends' kids
that's
are
not
grown
true.
up now.
I did just think of a friend with children that I like. So we're all good.
There you go.
No, but seriously, I really, really just struggle with that. And I think you bring up an interesting point of how are you a shelter volunteer or shelter worker or rescue, whatever, we're kind of throwing them all in the same hat. And you've never encountered that one dog that made you question, just one, that one dog that made you
Yeah.
question, is Save Them All really, really working here? Is
Mhm.
this dog the dog that could change the way you think about what's okay and what's not?
I also think sometimes like sometimes the idea of something
Hmm,
is better
it's
and makes you
pretty.
feel happy,
Mm,
but better than what the reality of that thing is, whether
mm,
whether that's Save Them All or, the guy you have a crush on or
hmm.
whatever. Like, it's just a
Getting a
better
French
idea in your
bulldog,
mind.
it
Yeah,
all like this
whatever.
seems like a good idea.
Why would it scream? It's a French bulldog. But I also think a lot of times with that concept, people are not willing to do what they expect other people to do. So they want
Yes.
Save Them All, and they want someone to take that really aggressive dog, but not them because that would be unsafe with their Pomeranian or in their neighborhood or with their children. But they want someone to take that. Someone should
Yes.
take that burden on. It just can't be them for a variety of reasons. And I understand that you can't take that on, but
Yeah.
also don't, I, s- and this is not just with dogs, I so strongly believe this. I don't think we should be telling people to do things we ourselves are not
Mm.
willing to do.
I have a perfect example. I helped with the Texas 200, which ended up being much more than 200 in Texas in 2012. And it was basically a hoarding mass breeding operation. And all of the dogs were at the Houston Humane Society. And
You helped on the rescue and not
yes,
the
I helped
breeding
on,
end.
oh God, yeah. I helped on the rescue end. We had just moved to Texas, and the Rottweiler Club of America came in and was coming through, assessing the dogs, stepping in, helping with the rescue efforts, blah, blah, blah. So I was helping assess the dogs, give the dogs IDs, all that shit. And there was this one dog that was a problem. He was going to be extremely difficult to place because he had behavioral problems.
Mhm,
And he was even hard to handle.
mhm,
And it was a problem. And there was a particular volunteer who was just flipping out about the potential of this dog being euthanized. And we had to make hard choices about those dogs.
mhm,
I mean, before puppies even happened, we had over 200 Rottweilers from a Monday to a Tuesday. Boom, 200 Rottweilers. And this dog was not highly adoptable. We couldn't move him across the country. They all had to be moved to different areas. And this woman just was, and so another volunteer whipped around and looked at her and said, "If you want to save him so bad, you take him." And this woman
mhm,
said, "Oh, well, I can't for XYZ."
mhm,
Just right. And the other volunteer looked at her and said, "Then I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do here." And I was a person who voted for him to be euthanized, and he was euthanized, and it was the right call. So it's a
mhm,
perfect example of what you're saying.
mhm,
Sometimes hard decisions have to be made. And
mhm,
unless you are going to step up and say, "I'll be the person to take this dog," which would have been a terrible choice, then like, what are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
And I do have kind of an example the other direction. My foster Julius, when I met
Mm,
him, I was, I was like, man, he's a good dog. I really like him.
yeah,
And the behavior that was noted, I knew what they were saying. Like
yeah.
they said he was lunging at the door. And I was like, that's not lunging to me, that's jumping. He's very excited coming at the door to be let out. And I was like,
Hmm.
I don't see that as aggression at all. They noted some other things, just his hair bristled when you touched him. And he did, but it wasn't to me, it wasn't aggression. It was like a lack of human contact. And he was
And
just so
that's
excited. Like
stimulated.
he
Yeah.
just couldn't help it. Like his hair would bristle and he'd get excited. And he was just so happy to have human contact. And so I saw all these things. And when I read his notes, I was like, I so strongly disagree with this evaluation of him needing to be put to sleep. But
Hmm.
also, he was a huge dog in a
He
little
was.
kennel.
Yeah.
And I knew that wasn't fair. I knew it wouldn't be long before he went downhill. So I did step in and say, you know what, I'm gonna trust my gut. I think he's a
Yeah.
good dog. I'll step in. I would like to foster him. And because he was already on the euthanasia list, they denied me.
Yep.
The county denied me. And I was like, well, I don't know that I have other options. And luckily, another trusted rescue ended up stepping in literally at the last minute, within the last 59 minutes of his
Yep.
life, stepped in
And
and
back to
then
you.
yeah, well, and they took him in and they said, we want to
Hmm.
evaluate him ourselves first. And then once they had evaluated him, they said, yes, okay, you can foster him through
Hmm.
us. So, and that's an example of, hey, I don't agree with this evaluation.
Hmm.
I'm going to put my money where my mouth is
Hmm.
and step in and say, I really believe in this dog.
And what would you have done if it had gone wrong? If he had been an aggressive dog?
I would have been honest about it.
Yep.
If he was aggressive, I would have said, man, I was way off. Like,
Hmm. Yep.
yeah,
So, two things. One, I think there's a lack of education, and I understand that volunteers are volunteers, right?
sure.
And we
Yeah.
need to be grateful for everything, but the behavior team, we probably need to have good educated people in the behavior team.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I understand they don't get paid enough, it's not Gloria's job, blah blah.
Yeah.
Like I get all of those things, but still it can still be true that we need to
Mhm.
have good educated behavior people. We also need to have good educated honest behavior people.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
Julius was a danger, you would have gone back to that rescue and said, "He is a dangerous dog," and they would have
He's
done the right
dangerous.
thing. Yep,
Yeah.
they would have
They
done the
would have
right
probably
thing.
brought him back, evaluated him,
Yep,
done training to see it,
yep, yep,
see if that changed anything.
yep.
But yeah,
So Julius is a success story because you followed your
yeah,
gut, but at the same time, there were things that were failures that should be like kind of basic things.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to be, hey, you have to save them all, there's no way for you personally to save them all. But I think you also need to be honest that there's no way for anyone to save them
Mm-mm.
all because those dogs don't belong in your everyday neighborhood
No.
with your everyday owner.
Mm-mm.
And I think we would be wise to realize that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we just would be wise to kind of take a really serious, deep look at the state of dogs overall
Mhm,
and how do we do right by our communities, our humans, and our
mhm,
dogs alike?
mhm,
And sometimes that's making really, really hard choices that we don't want to make, but
mhm,
it's the right choice. At the end of the day, if there's a dog who's got issues that
mhm.
is not safe, the best thing for
Yeah.
everyone, the dog included,
Yes.
is for the dog to be euthanized.
Mhm,
And that's a reality of where we are. Not
mhm,
everyone makes it. Like, that's sad,
mhm.
but it's true. Not everyone makes it.
Yeah.
And so we just have to be like a bit more honest as a community about what we want our communities to look like.
Yeah. I think the all and how you raise them kind of gets
Mm,
lumped in there too, that maybe we can fix all of the dogs through the right training or enough love. every dog is fixable. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll defer to you because you would know
Mm,
better on the breeding end. But do you feel like breeders understand that sometimes things just aren't wired correctly?
I
Or
think
do
that
you
it's
think there's, yeah, go ahead.
I think that there are some, I think it's not 50-50. I don't know what the average would be, but I think
Okay.
most do understand that. And
Mhm.
that the ones that don't understand that are wearing rose-colored glasses, that
Okay.
it's like it never happened to them sort of thing. I
Okay.
also
Yeah.
do think that it depends on breed.
Sure.
Because,
Okay.
like, for you to have a pug that has severe aggression would be like super fucking wacky. And that's just not part of their temperament.
Yeah.
Whereas a pug person would be like, this is an anomaly. Like, I'm not okay with this because it's really against their breed. They
Mhm.
actually, I think, would be more tend to be like, we're going to call that out
Mhm.
immediately. Whereas somebody who's breeding an Staff, an American Staffordshire
Mhm.
Terrier, would be more accepting of it because it's in their heritage. So I do think it
Mhm.
depends there too.
Okay.
Yeah. I I think about the people like you said that are like, well, we can love it out. We can train it out. We
Yeah.
can fix it, right? And that just makes me think about I mean, I've probably read hundreds at this point of stories on Losing Lulu, the behavioral euthanasia support group page. And if you read five of those stories and all of the things that people did to try to quote unquote fix their dogs, it
Yeah.
is unbelievable. I mean, the lengths that these people went to try to
Mhm.
make it work. Years, some thousands and
Mhm.
thousands of dollars, 10
Yeah.
different veterinarians, trainers, completely adjusting their lifestyle, no longer having people in their home, just the ends of the earth. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, they're on that page because they could not save that dog. Nothing
Yeah.
could save them, right? So
Yeah.
clearly we have a problem, and breed doesn't matter. Origin of those dogs don't matter. There are dogs from ethical breeders on there. There are dogs from shelters. There are dogs from the reservation. There are dogs from other countries. There are dogs from everywhere. Sometimes shit
Mhm.
just goes wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just
And
reality.
it's not always it's not always because the puppy was abused or
No.
I think that's a misnomer. Like everyone thinks, "Oh, well it's all in how you raise them. And maybe they can't get past that abuse,
Well, I
but
take
it's not the
offense to
dog's
that.
fault." But also,
I take offense to that because I busted my ass to raise Lucy with every single thing that I could.
sure.
Socialization, training, everything, and was aggressive, right? So like
Yeah.
I take issue with that.
Yeah.
I did everything and genetics were not on my side.
Yeah.
And so I agree. Like it's not all in how we raise them. And I'm a person who used to say that. I didn't
Mhm.
know better.
Mhm.
I thought that. I was part of that whole culture.
Yeah.
And then it happened to me.
Yeah. I would say Trish McMillan's very clear. She had a puppy she raised from the moment
Mm,
it was born, kept it, and it was extremely aggressive
hmm
to the point she put it to sleep. And then she has this dog fighting dog
hmm
who is just a dud in the dog fighting world. Really, genetics were on his side to be aggressive, all the things.
Right?
We don't he was an anomaly in
hmm
the other direction that
hmm
and she said people would tell her all the time, oh, it's all in how you raise them, and she's like,
mm
his first owner
hmm
is in jail for abusing and
hmm
killing dogs. It's not how you raise them.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yep.
and here he is in my house with chickens. Like,
Yeah. If you bring up Trish, thinking about, which we haven't brought this up in a while, actually, thinking about her story of the perils of adopting marginal dogs. I
mhm,
probably just butchered that once again, and we can link it. I'll link it. But there is a price to be paid, right? When
mhm,
we save them all, and that means that there is a dog that goes into the community with a family that is dangerous. And
mhm,
dangerous can mean whatever it means to you. If that dog is unsafe in our community and those people adopted that dog, you now have that dog, just like Lucy was a wonderful ambassador for adopted pit bulls, that dog
Mhm.
is a terrible ambassador for
Yeah.
adopted shelter dogs.
Mhm.
And all of the people that know that dog's story and interact with that dog and feel unsafe around that dog are now having an experience that could potentially stop them from adopting in the future. And
Yeah.
that, if nothing else, can get you to wrap your brain around why save them all does not is not a good idea. That alone, if you are a shelter dog advocate, that should do it.
Yeah.
It's stopping people from adopting.
Yeah. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, we want to help dogs at large. We want to make the world better for all the dogs in their
Mm.
community, but people and dogs alike, and other animals, all the animals
Yeah.
alike, you know. But when we forgo the safety
Mm.
of 100 dogs to save one,
I was
like
just
that's
thinking
not
that.
doing the right thing.
Yep. When we sacrifice many for the sake of one, what do
Yeah.
we do? What are we gaining?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate, and share us wherever you get your podcasts. Also, come on over to Instagram and engage with us at Sometimes There's Side Eye.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.